If you're selling your house, these are the top things you do not want to have on your property while it's for sale. Let's start off with personal photos. So we do this for a couple of different reasons. Number one, we want to neutralize the property. We don't want to have buyers walking in and envisioning your home. We want them walking in and envisioning them living there. But also we're doing it for security. We don't want to give anyone any more information about who you are and what you do than we absolutely have to. Also, we want to remove those things like names above our children's beds, monograms on things around the home. You get the picture. You really want to depersonalize it. I don't want to scare anybody, but there are some major scammers out there, and they're looking for every single opportunity to do whatever they can to target someone. I'm not sure I understand what the benefit is, but they're out there, the stories are there, and it can be really scary. So we just don't want to give any more personal information about us than we absolutely have to. Not to mention the fact that those listing photos get blasted all over the world on the internet. Number two on my list would be those video surveillance systems, and I'm talking about a Ring doorbell as well. Y'all, I know that we're all very security conscious, and it may seem natural to want to put in one of those systems when you have people coming in and out of your home that you don't know, but it can really get you in some legal trouble. So in the state of Georgia, we are considered a single party notification state. What that means is, in order to record that conversation, you have to be a party of it. At least one party of that conversation has to be present. So if you're not there in the home while the buyers are touring it, it's illegal for you to record their conversation. As a buyer's agent, when I'm taking people out to see homes, I always tell my buyers that we need to assume we're being recorded of some sort, but it's really not a good idea. And if you choose to maintain that system and record buyers in and out of the house, then you want to make sure you're disclosing that. If you're choosing to use one of those video and audio security systems, you really want to make sure you're disclosing that to both the agents and the potential buyers. And the best way to do that is, number one, put it in the listing notes. That way the buyer's agent knows, but also have signage in the home. Have it right at the front of the house so they can't miss it, and maybe another couple of other places throughout the house, just to make sure it's really clear that that home has a system that is monitoring the video and the audio. The last thing you want to do when you're selling your house is do something that's illegal and land yourself in a lawsuit. So just make sure you're disclosing that to keep yourself out of some legal trouble. So the next item that you want to make sure you're keeping out of your home while it's for sale would be any of your valuables. We're talking about things like jewelry, work, maybe some electronic items, some collections of some sort. You want to get anything of value like that off the property while it's being sold. Once again, there are people out there whose intention is to do bad things, and sadly they are very good at being very bad, and we just don't want to give them anything that they can target. So my recommendation when someone is selling their home is that you take any jewelry, of course, and put it in the safe deposit box. If you've got a coin collection or anything that can fit in that safe deposit box, that's the best place for it. Any other type of items, maybe your laptop or things like that you can carry with you, just make sure you do when the home is being shown to a potential buyer or during the open house. I actually showed up to my open house one day and found that my seller had, I'm guessing, left in a hurry, but he left 4 expensive watches on the dresser. His MacBook was on the nightstand, and an expensive bottle of bourbon there on the kitchen countertop. I learned my lesson then. Always show up early so I can go through the entire house, making sure it is ready for people to be in there. Hey y'all, make sure you watch to the end. And make sure you watch to the end to get my bonus item. And if you're finding any of this helpful, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps my channel grow and helps YouTube to show these videos to other people just like yourself. Another item you want to make sure you don't have on the property while it's being sold would be medications that are addictive. It's really a sad state of affairs that we have such an addiction problem in this country, actually in this world. But we just want to make sure that if you have those types of medications, that you remove them from the property. It's really sad to me to think about that there are people out there that are going into open houses and actually scheduling showings just to see if there's an opportunity to get the drugs that they need. They actually go as far as to look at the photos online and get a good idea of the bathrooms. And there's even floor plans often online with the listing. You really want to make sure that you get rid of those medications. If you find that you do have them and you want them discarded properly, you can always take them to your local pharmacies and they will dispose of them. And if there are medications that you have to have with you, my recommendation while you've got your house for sale is to make yourself a little kit. That way, if you have to leave for a showing or you're going to be leaving for the day, maybe for the open house, it's easy to carry away and you won't forget them. You're going to want to make sure that you remove all your personal documents from the house. Things like credit card bills, bank statements, any legal documents, anything that's got your personal information on it. If you're like me and my husband, we have a filing cabinet in our home office, and that's where we keep all the important stuff. So if you've got that, make sure you put all those things in there and that it's locked up. I don't want you to think that buyers have free reign of your house and they're going to be going through your drawers and looking through all your personal stuff, but it's always wise to take precaution and just protect yourself. I cover all these things and more in my Ultimate Seller's Guide. Make sure you get a copy. There's a QR code that you can scan and also a link in the description. It's completely free and you can use it as a roadmap to getting your house ready to sell. So if you've got a personal safe on your property, you're going to want to cover that up or disguise it in some way. Back to the fact that your listing photos are online for the whole world to see. If a bad person sees in a listing photo that you've got a safe, that just tells them that you could be a potential target. Certainly, buyers are not going to walk away with your safe or even try to open it, but those professional criminals, it's amazing the links that they will go to find the right homes for them to target. We want to do everything possible to make sure that your house doesn't land on a list of the next victims. Next item I want to make sure you remove from the house is going to be a memory book. I actually saw this on a program where an agent was recommending that the sellers of the house create a memory book to leave for potential buyers to look at. And I don't think this is a good idea. In that book would be special events like birthday parties and neighborhood gatherings, block parties, special community events, and things that they love about the area, maybe the schools. These are opinions. If you had a great experience with a neighbor, that's awesome. But what if someone else doesn't have a great experience with that neighbor? Maybe your family has enjoyed the neighborhood Halloween celebrations, but maybe the next person that looks at your house is not into Halloween. There's all kinds of variables, and we want to make sure that we're attracting the broadest amount of people when it comes to looking at our house. And we certainly don't want to do anything that offends anybody. And I'm just going to tell you, team rivalry is real. So if you think that your Georgia Bulldog decked out house is going to appeal to a Florida Gators fan, you've got an awakening coming. I have seen this firsthand. So if you have a lot of sports memorabilia, maybe it's your alma mater, you're going to want to remove that stuff because there's a strong possibility that doesn't appeal to your buyers. And if you have someone come in from your rival team and they see all of your stuff, it could be the reason they don't buy your house. So we just want to make sure that instead of emotional things, we want to stick to disclosing the facts. I don't want to sound like I'm not compassionate about people's personal situations, but you don't want to have any signs of distress in your property. I know that a lot of times someone is selling because of something that's happening, like a divorce, a death in the family, financial problems, but we really don't want to give potential buyers any indication that any of these things are happening. It's really surprising how intuitive and how inquisitive a potential buyer is as to why someone is selling their house. They're looking around the house, looking for clues. They'll actually ask the question, why are they selling? And we don't want to give them any reason that they may think that there's a deal to be had there. I know it sounds really crazy to think that someone would want to take advantage of someone's bad situation, but it happens, and you really don't want to set yourself up for that. So if there's any signs of distress there in your home, you're going to want to do what you can to minimize that. It can be something as simple as a buyer can walk in and see that only half of the closet is being used and all of the clothes are women's clothes or men's clothes. Maybe they even notice that it doesn't look like the second side of the vanity is being used. It's really surprising what buyers can pick up on. I've actually been known to bring in other clothes to put into the master closet or to add things to the bathroom to make it look balanced. I know it shouldn't be this way, but it is, and if someone's hiring me to sell their house, I'm going to give them all of my expertise and do what I can to make sure that I'm doing the best job for them and not exposing a situation to a potential buyer is protecting that seller. So I might get some flack on this one, but I feel really strongly about it. Y'all, if you're selling your house, you don't want to require those buyers coming in to take off their shoes or to wear those booties. You don't even want to put those plastic carpet runners down. I know it seems like we should be protecting the house from dirt or wear and tear, but it is a liability hazard. You probably haven't thought about it, but look at it this way. If somebody comes in and they put those booties on, and maybe you've got a house full of hardwood floors and you've got wood treads on your staircase, you know how easily it is to slide around. If they slide around and fall and get hurt, you're liable for that. And I don't want to put you in that situation. And the same thing for those plastic runners. I've seen people get their toe caught on the edge, or maybe they were wearing high heels and it got twisted up and caused them to twist and fall. Same situation. We don't want to create any type of hazard that can cause you to find yourself being sued. And I know it seems like it's the right thing to do to protect the carpet or protect the floors, but if it's just dirt, we can clean it. Even if it gets a little bit damaged, it is far better to deal with that than to deal with the liability or to deal with a lawsuit while you're trying to get your house sold. It's just not worth the risk. So next on my list might surprise you, and I hope it doesn't hurt your feelings, but one thing you do not want to have on your property while you're trying to sell it is you. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You do not want to be present when buyers are looking at your home. Number one, it's natural if you hear something that they don't like for you to react to that. I've had this happen. I had a seller that had someone knock on their door because of the sign in the yard, and my seller let them in to see the house. And so the buyer was walking around and commented that the wallpaper in the dining room looked dated. My seller loved that wallpaper. She took an immediate offense to it, and it hurt her feelings. And that could have been a potential buyer for real, but she escorted that buyer out of the house. She got so offended. But put yourself in this position. What you want to do is you want buyers to be able to walk around your house and look at it freely. They want to discuss it with their agent, give honest feedback. You don't want them wondering, is it okay to open this closet door? Can I open these cabinet doors? And so what actually happens is they don't truly look at the house. They're so uncomfortable thinking about you being there that it just doesn't ever turn out well. So do whatever you can to not be there. It's one of the first instructions I give all my sellers is, for you and I to work well together, I'm going to need you not to be there for showings or those open houses. It's just not going to work out well. And for my bonus item, and I might get some flack for this one for sure, y'all, you do not want to leave your pets on your property while it's being sold. I know that you love your dog or your cat or your bird or your fish or your bearded dragon, whatever it is, but we're trying to appeal to the masses and not to another bird lover or another dog lover. We want to appeal to the broadest amount of buyers. And we have to realize too that some people have allergies, or they may have fears, or just something negative associated with the fact that there's been an animal of any kind in that home. And I know it can be inconvenient, but it really is necessary. And I'm not saying that you have to get rid of your pet, but we need to make special arrangements during showings and open houses. I always tell my sellers that if you can maybe send Foofy to camp for the weekend while the house is being shown, especially the first weekend, that's a really great idea. That way we can make sure the house smells clean, it looks clean, we've put away all the bedding and the toys and the things that come along with having that pet. That way, this can be really serious. I had a house listed not too long ago where there was a cat, and I was holding an open house, and I had someone open the door and walk right inside the door, and immediately she says, "Oh, I can't come in. I can tell there's a cat." She was already having an allergic reaction. So we want to make sure that we have eliminated all evidence or any evidence as possible that there's an animal living there. Just remember, it's a short period of time, and if we do everything well, the house will sell quickly, and we won't have to worry about it for long. But it's really best to get rid of any evidence of having a pet when you're selling your home. All of these items on this list are so important when you're selling your house. I hope you took notes, but if you didn't, I have an ultimate seller's guide, and you can download a free copy. There's a QR code there and a link in the description. So just get your hands on a free copy of it. I cover all these things and so much more. And my name is Teresa Fudge. I'm a local realtor here in Georgia. If I can help you with anything, just reach out. My contact information is in the description as well. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.